What's going on there, guys? Nick here from AbsoluteMTG, and welcome back to another deck tech here on the channel. As you guys can see, some things are a little bit different here with the layout of the deck tech, and hopefully it's something that you guys actually enjoy. It took a lot of time to actually put this layout together, and hopefully it's something for the better, and I get some good feedback from this. We'll see. It's just something that I'm testing out. But without further ado, Black-Red Eldrazi Aggro. So this is a budget deck, and it's probably one of my more favorite ones that I've put together, and Battle for Zendikar has honestly just offered such good cards, and this deck is really just going to take advantage of the whole essence of Battle for Zendikar. So basically with this deck, we're just trying to be super aggressive. We're playing a bunch of Eldrazi Devoid cards, and we're trying to synergize with them. So the first card that we have is Sludge Crawler. So it's our 1-drop, 1/1 with Devoid and Ingest, and for 2 mana we can pump it up. So if we have any more open mana that we're not using, we can turn that into having a more aggressive creature and potentially making it a little bit more awkward for our opponent if they have chump blockers or something. We have 4 Culling Drone. So Culling Drone is, again, another one of those lower-end creatures that really isn't high value, but pretty much overall what we're just trying to do is jam up the board with as many dudes and as quick as possible, and then just kind of turn them sideways. So the Culling Drone, Devoid, Ingest, basically a vanilla creature otherwise. We have 4 Forerunner of Slaughter, which is definitely my favorite card out of this entire deck. As soon as I saw this card spoiled, which was like super early on, I knew that Eldrazi Aggro could potentially be a thing, and it was something that I wanted to actually build. So for 1 black and 1 red, it is a 3/2 creature with Devoid, but for 1 mana, it can give another target colorless creature haste until the end of the turn. So whenever we get into the mid to late game, we can give our other Devoid creatures haste, and we can allow them to attack our opponent immediately. We have 4 Kozilek's Sentinel, so another really sweet card in this deck because it works around us playing more colorless spells and more Devoid guys. So it's a 1/4 for 2, which doesn't seem that amazing, but whenever we cast a colorless spell, it's going to get +1/+0 until the end of the turn. For our 3 converted mana cost creatures in the deck, we have 4 Wasteland Strangler, which is a form of really sweet removal for us because we're already playing with ingest creatures. Whenever our Wasteland Strangler enters the battlefield, if our opponent has a card in their exile, we can move it from their exile to their grave, and we can give a creature -3/-3 until the end of the turn, which is really sweet because even though it's small scale removal, it can make a difference with what our opponent's actually doing and how they're able to block and, well, what creatures they actually have on the battlefield. And we're also playing a playset of Dominator Drone, so another 3/2 for 3 mana, but this guy has Devoid, Ingest, and whenever it enters the battlefield, if we control another colorless creature, each opponent loses 2 life. Our creatures top out at 4 CMC with our Dust Stalker, which we're playing 4 of. So our Dust Stalker doesn't need any help from our Forerunner of Slaughter. It's a 5/3 with haste for 4 mana, 2, 1 black and 1 red. And it also has Devoid. But at the beginning of each end step, if you control no other colorless creatures, you have to return it back to its owner's hand. But most times that shouldn't be a problem, and we're well on our ways to attacking for 5 consistently. We're not playing very many non-creature spells in our Eldrazi Aggro deck here, but the ones that we are playing are pretty damn good. So we have 4 Ghostfire Blade, which we're able to equip onto one of our Eldrazi guys for just 1 mana to give it +2/+2. And we're playing 4 Titan Strength, which will pump up our guy +3/+1 until the end of the turn, and also allow us to scry and get in some free points of damage. Now, our budget deck wouldn't be complete without a sideboard as well. So for the sideboard that I put together here, we have 3 Duress. So the Duress is for the slower matchups where you see your opponent has a lot of removal and a lot of cards that can get rid of your creatures, especially board wipes like Languish. If you see your opponents playing those, you want to side in your Duress and be able to pick apart their hand, take away their removal, and not allow them to be able to play it against you. We have 4 Roast for bigger creatures like Siege Rhino that you don't really want to trade your creatures attacking into them. So you have the Roast to be able to get rid of your opponent's bigger threats. That way you can actually attack in with your dudes. And same thing goes with Ultimate Price. If you see your opponent's playing a lot of monocolored creatures, you can side in the Ultimate Price and have some easy removal to assure yourself that your creatures are actually attacking in. We also have some more removal here in the form of Self-Inflicting Wound for any decks that are playing a bunch of green and or white creatures, especially those ones that are playing Siege Rhino. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I really don't like playing against Siege Rhino. Even as much as I like actually playing the card, don't really like playing against it very much. And last but not least, we have 2 Virulent Plague in the sideboard for any of the token decks that might try to emerge, produce a bunch of chump blockers and block your stuff for days. So we have that in there to try to stop them. But one thing to remember about the sideboard is it's just kind of a rough guide and a rough idea of the cards that you can be playing in your sideboard whenever you're playing against your friends or whenever you're competing and whatnot. You want to put your sideboard together based on the stuff that you think you're going to play against and the cards that you think will actually be good against those decks. But here's my idea of what I would be playing for a hypothetical sideboard for this deck if I were to want to play this deck. And there you guys have it. That is the deck tech here for Black-Red Budget Eldrazi Aggro. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, I would greatly appreciate it if you thumbs up the video and subscribe to the channel for more Magic the Gathering content. If you guys have any suggestions for videos you'd like to see, leave them down in the comments below. Interact. Leave me some feedback down there. What do you guys think of the actual layout for the deck techs here? And yeah, thank you for watching, and until next time, guys, peace out.